Okay, this is a big list. There's a lot of dungeons on here. I've tried to organize them a little bit. I've tried to put my camera in a good enough place that you can see the list and you can see the ones I'm talking about. There's a lot. I think personally, the less memorable they are, the lower they're going to get ranked. I'm sorry, because some you just do once and never do again. I think the newer ones are much better designed and much more interesting, so they might get ranked a little higher. The big thing I want to say here is this is all just my opinions, and I really want to know what your opinions are. So if you have a favorite or like a top 3 or a top 5 or a bottom 3 or a bottom 5, let me know in the comments what your top 3, bottom 3 are, because I'm really, really curious, because there's some which I despise and I really, really don't like. And some people love them, because there's one that I love and everyone hates it. So let's get straight into it. Starting first, Sestasha. For me, coming from World of Warcraft, the first ever dungeon in WoW is a pirate-themed dungeon. So having a pirate-themed dungeon in Final Fantasy was really nice, really refreshing, and really welcoming. And it's a decent dungeon. It's pretty good. It's nice. I think it's an A tier for me. Nostalgia-wise and how accessible it is to new players, I think it's fantastic. The hard mode is a little less memorable, so I'd probably drop that at B. I'm going to go pretty fast because there's so many dungeons here. So yeah, I'm not going to hang on everyone for ages. Right. Okay. Okay. Now, I can already feel the angry comments. This is going high. Praetorium is one of the first hype big events of the game. It's the end of ARR. It's so exciting. You've got Gaius van Beelzart, you've got Ultima, you've got so much cool stuff there, some really iconic lines, the devastation, all that stuff. I think it's really good. Doing it a second time, doing it every week for roulettes is terrible. And it's a terrible thing to do. Not fun. You got to sit watching the cutscenes again. But the first time you do it, this is a fantastic dungeon. So I think it might be S tier, but I'm going to put it on A, and I might move it to S later. Copperbell Mines, boring. Copperbell Mines, that middle boss, I think, where half the players don't do anything is weird. I normally just stand dancing. So for that reason, it's not very good. I think it's even worse, honestly. Right. No, it's the same. It's the same. Okay. Hatali, very unmemorable. It's okay. It's an okay dungeon, but it's not huge. There's the little things that you can interact with. It's okay. It's mediocre, and I think the hard version is worse. I really do. So that's my ranking there. Sorry. It's just a mid dungeon. Really not great. Hawk Manor, on the other hand, fantastic. The first time you go into Hawk Manor, the story's dark, eerie, weird. You've got this big, vibrant manor with like these creepy eyes floating around. I think it's great. It's just like Halloween, the dungeon. I think it's fantastic, and it's one of my favorites. The hard mode is a little weaker, but I think the dungeon, the first time, because it's related to the quest as well, is fantastic. Hullbreaker Isle, one of the best optional dungeons. It's one of the most refreshing. I don't know if it's the best mechanically or technically, but it's really nice. It's really nice. And I think the hard mode is just as good. It's a really nice, refreshing dungeon, some really cool bosses in it, and it's a nice theme. If you've not done this one, it's an optional one. Definitely worth going and pick it up. Brayflox, amazing design and amazing setup, but I think the fights are a little boring. So, and I've done it a lot. So I'm probably going to put them both at C. I think they're both just like great design, but boring bosses. That's how I describe Brayflox. Yeah, normal Stone Vigil. I know people don't like this. Look, I know there's people out there who really, really don't like this dungeon, and I don't know why. I love it. As someone who likes like medieval fantasy type stuff, I think Stone Vigil is amazing. I think it's so good. There's dragons, there's knights, there's like cool stuff. I accept that the bosses are a little weak. It's been revamped now and it's a little better. The tornadoes on the second boss is pretty cool. Before it would have probably been a B. I think with the revamp it maybe goes up to an A. Controversial, I think, on that one because I know people hate it. Stone Vigil Hard is probably a little weaker on the bosses, but I still think it's a good dungeon. Castrum Meridian, I despise Castrum Meridian. It's the most zergy, stupid dungeon to run in the roulettes. I don't remember it being like amazing the first time. It's good for experience, but I don't like it. Is it an F? Is there anything memorable about it? Like, is there anything that makes it go, oh, that's actually really good? I don't think so. Even the stuff you do in it, like the interactable stuff, just isn't great for me. I think it's an F. I really don't like it. Dezima Darkhold, interesting dungeon, but them frogs, man. Yeah. Wanderer's Palace, amazing. Tonbreeze, this cool, like it drops down and goes as it goes into the palace. The story behind it's really cool. I think it's fantastic. Wondrous Palace hard, maybe a little creepier. So is it better? No, I think it's the same or weaker. I think I'm going to say weaker. I think I'm going to say weaker just because your first... I always think like with the hard modes, your first impression comes with the normal and the hard mode is just a little different. And I don't think they're usually different enough to rank them super high. I think it's okay, but the normals always blow me away a little bit more. Now, I'm going to be honest. This might be controversial. All of this, Lost City of Ampador, Ampador Keep, Lost City of Ampador hard, and Ampador Keep hard. I just think that whole thing is boring. And I'm sorry if you love these dungeons. I just think they're all boring. They don't do it for me. This one, I think, is a little better, and I'd probably put it at C. But everything else, I think, is boring. And I know it's got cool stuff. You might feel like, you know, Indiana Jones at points. It's interesting stuff, but I don't like it. So for me, they all go there. Sorry. Faris Sirius and Faris Sirius hard, I think, are both average. I think they're okay. They're all right. They're interesting, but not that memorable. They look cool, but they're just a bit... Okay. Aurum Vale. Bro. Aurum Vale's a good meme, but is it a good dungeon? No. No. Aurum Vale, is it a good dungeon? I don't think it's a good dungeon. I think it's... Do we hate it because it's the meme, or do we hate it because it's a bad dungeon? Do we even hate it, or are we just told to hate it? I don't hate it. It's okay. It's redeemed itself. Tamatara Deepcroft. Fantastic. Fantastic story. Super dark. Super interesting. I think this is a great dungeon. I think it's not aesthetically pleasing at all, but I think it's a really, really nice dungeon. And it's one of the only dungeons where I would rank the hard mode better. I think Tamatara Deepcroft is so good. The story, the darkness to it, how it ties into like, the story ties into like the deep dungeon. Incredible. I think that is an incredible dungeon, my opinion. Snowcloak, for the music alone, that should be S tier, but the dungeon itself maybe brings it down to an A. I think Snowcloak's fantastic. The music is so relaxing. If you get that in your roulette late at night, you're just living the dream. Okay, Sunken Temple of Quan hard. Get in there. Get in the Ampador Keep category. All these like old dungeons just don't do it for me. Keeper of the Lake, on the other hand, yes, Keeper of the Lake is fantastic. One of the best. I might put that on S. Keeper of the Lake is phenomenal theme. Do the bosses put it at S? I don't know. The bosses aren't as good, but the theme and the story and where you go with it is, it's an A. It's an A because of the fights, but the dungeon itself is an S. It's an A though. Dust Vigil, I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. But I know it's not the best. Probably B. Somehow, nah. No thanks. The Aery's pretty good. It's not the most memorable for me. It's okay. Do we have any lovers of the Aery? I know some people, like when I did it, were like hyping it up. I thought it was alright. I thought it was very average. The Vault, don't really remember the Vault. Not. I think we all remember the Vault. The Vault is trauma. The dungeon itself is okay, but because of the emotion it brings, does it put it at S because it makes you sad every time you go in it? There's the meme, you watch someone new play it and you hype it up and you talk about it, but does that make it an S tier dungeon? I don't think it does. I think it makes it a very good dungeon. I don't think it makes it top tier. So far, we just got a Hawk Manor. Great Google Library. Amazing. Amazing dungeon. That might be an S tier dungeon. It's unique. It's different. The bosses are fantastic. I think Great Google Library is an S tier dungeon. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I do. Yeah, I think it is. The Research Facility, that's a pretty good dungeon. That's a B. It's a pretty good dungeon. It's okay. It's pretty good. Never Reap. That's one of the optional ones, I think. I didn't like it. It's okay. Not for me. Fractal Continuum again probably goes down there. I didn't like it. This might be where we're getting controversial because I know people like that dungeon, but it is what it is. Saint. I don't know how to say this one. The Arboretum. The Arboretum's pretty good. The Arboretum's pretty good. Anti-Tower was probably better than the others. Anti-Tower is probably an A. I kind of like the theme of that. Were the bosses an A? I think the bosses were pretty good though. Yo, there's still so many left. Holy crap, I'm gonna have to speed this up. That's going down there. Didn't like it. Sorry. So maybe it goes a little higher. Maybe it goes on C. No reason, just put it on C. What is this one? Forced to flee the Black Shroud, fear the elemental wrath, the Alexi settled the Winter Dungeon. Let's see if I've forgotten which one was. The Fire Mountain, First Mountains, original piece. Brave hero once race gets armed of the realm from destruction. Done it. I've done every dungeon, but I have no memory of that dungeon. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna have to go to F because I physically do not remember doing it. Maybe that's super controversial. Great Google Library Hard, I think goes on B. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's great. We're actually running out of space now to the point where I'm having to scroll up and down. I'm just gonna have to drag them up. I dragged them up and talk about them as I drag them. So now we've got Bales's Wall. I think that's the big finale of Stormblood. Is that right? Laid siege to Bales's Wall. Yes. Okay, this one is S. This one is S. I think this one brings out everything a lot of people wanted from Stormblood, and where Stormblood felt a bit dry, I think this one redeemed it. I think Bales's Wall is 10 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic dungeon. Controversial, maybe. Somehow Hard, I think that's slightly better than Somehow. But not B tier. I think it's slightly better to like there. The Siren Song C. Okay, now I have very controversial beliefs about Final Fantasy's Stormblood. I think Stormblood... Oh, do I even get into this? I didn't like the story, but I agree that the dungeons were some of the best dungeons, theme-wise. Even if I didn't like the story, I can appreciate the dungeons were good. So I'm going to rank the dungeons pretty high. Storm Song C, I think, is the first one you do. It's B. Sasushi is A. Sasushi is fantastic. Shisui of the Violet Tide. I think that's a fantastic dungeon. You got the old lady thing at the end, I think, in that one. Is that an S tier dungeon? It might be. It might be an S tier dungeon. No, because I've just seen one. That goes to A. Bard's Metal. That's an S tier dungeon. Okay, and I know people are going to complain. I know people are going to complain about that. Bard's Metal. That zone is my favorite zone in the game almost. It might be my favorite zone in the game. Some of my favorite characters, even though I didn't like Stormblood, that zone itself redeemed the expansion in a way because I loved it. I loved everything about the zone. The dungeon itself was fantastic. You had the weird thing in the middle where you had to like do the actions. I think that dungeon's 10 out of 10 in a 10 out of 10 zone. Say what you will. Doma Castle. I thought the ending was... I'm not going to get into the story. Doma Castle's fine. It's a B. I'm not getting into the story. Castrum Urbania. Hated it. Alamigo. Alamigo? Alamigo? Is that called... Is that saying Alamigo? Maybe it says something else and I can't even read it. Who knows? I guess we'll just move on. Let me know in the comments if I missed something there. Kugane Castle. C. I think it's okay. I think it was an okay dungeon. Temple of the Fist was okay as well. I think these ones were like just very Stormblood themed, average. I thought they were okay. They're all okay. None of them like blew me away like these ones did. The Drowned City of Scala. The Drowned City of Scala is great. I think it's a good dungeon. That's a B. Is it higher? Is it an A? No. Hell's Lid. Hell's Lid is also a B. I'm putting a lot in B. Hell's Lid's a B. What we got next? The Fractal Continuum Hard. It's okay. C. The Shallow's Compass. The Swallow's Compass is a C. I think it's okay. A lot of these just aren't that memorable. Thousand Moors of Totorak is very memorable because it's terrible. It's terrible. I hate this dungeon so much. I despise this dungeon. I hate it so. Running around and getting the little things and the start. Despise it. It's good story in it at the end, but nah. The burn was pretty cool. Pretty eerie, pretty freaky. I think that's an A tier dungeon. Saint Monix Arboretum. Get down there. Gimlet Dark. Gimlet Dark was fantastic. I love Gimlet Dark. I think that's an incredible dungeon. I think that's the big war, right? Is Gimlet Dark part of the big war? Yeah. This was fantastic. This is a fantastic dungeon. This is A tier. Loved it. Amazing. I'm gonna pick this out and slide that into D. Quitana's Ravel. Sliding that into D because I don't like it. Stormblood. I think Stormblood. Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers is Final Fantasy at its best for me. It's everything I wanted from the game. It delivered everywhere, and I'm gonna get unbiased here. I'm sorry. It holds such a good place in my heart that everything I remember from it was fantastic. So, Home Insta Switch, it's an S. It's an S. You see the person transforming there. The monsters are sick. The setting is cool. It's the first one. It's just I just glow when I think about it. 10 out of 10 dungeon, 10 out of 10 theme. Don Meg again, phenomenal. You've got the frogs, you've got the weird things, you've got the seahorses. You start out with the trees and the weird stuff, and then you go into the water. You can pull your friends over the bridge. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Top dungeon. Malak as well, probably a B. I think it's okay. It's not great. Mount Gulg should have been an S, but I don't. I think it's an A. I think Mount Gulg is amazing, but it's not like Holminster Switch. I think it's pretty good. Amarot, get up there. Amarot's anything with Emmett Selk should go high, really. Amarot's fantastic. Amarot is phenomenal. End of the world, amazing. The Twinings, look, okay, I know the song's good. I know there's good memes, but the dungeon itself doesn't sit at an S, I don't think. I think it's a very, very good dungeon with a very, very good soundtrack. But I don't think it's S tier. S tier is perfect for me. Like it's like flawless. Like I can't say a bad thing against it. And Twining's like okay on like the fights and stuff. Academia Oneida is all right, but it's not my favorite. The Cosmos, I think that's slightly better, but not my favorite. Anemus Oneida, I have no memory of that. Anemus Oneida? Anemus Oneida? I don't remember it. The Hero's Gauntlet. I know a lot of people love the Hero's Gauntlet. Wasn't for me. I thought it was okay. I think the story was maybe slowing down there or something. Was it a patch? Maybe it was a patch. The Hero's Gauntlet was interesting. I've only ever done it once as well. Maybe if I go back I'd enjoy it more, but it's okay. Matoi's Relic, pretty good. Pretty good, but not great. C? It's C or B? Maybe a high C. High C or a low B. Paglathan, C. It was alright. It was alright. Tower of Zot. Now, Endwalker had some good dungeons. We still got some like weird ones stuck in here. Well, get that one out there. This Hyperborea. I think that's good. That's a B. Is it a C? Is it a C? No, I think it's a B. I think it's a B dungeon. It's a good dungeon. What else is slid below here? Sunken Temple of Quan. Get an F. Hate it. Okay, I judged that too hard. Maybe it should be D. Maybe it should be D. I don't like it. Cutter's Cry. I'm just going to slide that into D as well. C. Cutter's Cry is a C. It's not that bad. Okay. That leaves us with some really good ones left. The Tower of Zot was good. That was like peak hype. It's your first one of Endwalker. It really was peak hype. Big thing at the end. I don't want to, do we do spoilers? I don't know. You all know what it was. It was good. It was really, really good. The fight at the end when it came out as well slapped people around. This was a hard fight when it came out. I think Tower of Zot's amazing. I think it might be an S tier dungeon. The Tower of Babel, slightly less maybe. But slightly less. I think it's a B. Is it an A? Is Babel an A? I think Babel might be Babel's a C. B. Babel's a B. Vanispati is an A or an S. I don't know which. What do you think? A or an S? The whole end of the world thing happened in cutscenes. Like, we didn't get to be at the end of the world. As soon as the end of the world happened, we just left. And I hate that we missed that in Endwalker. This is one of my biggest pet peeves, that we just missed the whole big end of the world. And this was kind of the only experience of it we had. Which makes it amazing, but also leaves a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, because I feel like we should have more of it in the expansion. It was good. It was good. It was dark. It was good. Amazing bosses. Amazing theme. It was an S. A Telescope was fantastic. Wasn't S, but it's an A. Fantastic dungeon. The Dead Ends, S tier. Endwalker really brought it home with the dungeons. I think the dungeons were fantastic. Dead Ends was literally 3 dungeons in one. It's one of the only dungeons that I played in Expert Roulette again and again and again and didn't get bored of. Still don't have that damn minion though. Fantastic dungeon. Fantastic. Smarlton. Music's good. Dungeon's okay. It's a B. And then finally, Sigma Dreamscape. It's all right. I think it's a B as well. That's my tier list. It's rushed because there's so damn many, and I don't remember all of them very well. A lot of the if it was like an Indiana Jones themed ruin, and you're going through, and the story was kind of average at the time, and everything in there was kind of okay, it just sort of is going to fall into D and C because they're just not that memorable. There's so many, it's hard to have a good connection to all of them, and so many were just going through ruins. But reason, certain person wants to find certain person or certain thing, so you go into a ruin for it, and there were a lot like that in the game. I've just recorded and just realized the last 3 dungeons that have come out in the patches wasn't on there. It's just got Endwalker up to the base end game. So the last 3 are Azadal's Legacy, the Fell Court of Troya, and Lapis Manalis, the newest one that came out like last week, whatever it was, this month. So yeah, I'll quickly put those in. Legacy is B, Fell Court of Troya is A, and Lapis is low A, high B. There you go. I forgot them. I thought I chucked them on. They're not in the tier list because it's not got the newest dungeons in. But yeah, I don't think any of them are S tier. Maybe Troya. Troya's like pushing S. Troya and S. Maybe Troya's S. I don't know. Let me know. That's it. I forgot them. There they are. We're done. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.